Hello and welcome to the Study Legal English YouTube channel. I'm your host Louise, and the topic of today's episode is commonly mispronounced words in legal English with a silent B or a silent P. Okay, so I find that legal English learners commonly mispronounce these words, and of course, you want to be pronouncing them correctly. So, we're going to cover a simple rule, go over some frequently mispronounced words, look at example sentences, and common mistakes I bet you're making. And at the end, we will take a moment to practice your pronunciation. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Of course, if you like it, and also leave a comment, it helps me understand the type of content that is helpful for you. And do me a favour, share this with a friend, share this with a colleague, someone who could appreciate this content. It helps me grow my YouTube channel and reach more people. So thank you. Let's go. First of all, why focus on pronunciation in legal English before we do this? Of course, let's think about this. Accurate pronunciation is crucial for clear communication. If you are mispronouncing words, then people might have difficulty in understanding you. And even worse than that, worse than simply being difficult to understand you, is that they might misunderstand you. They might think that you're saying a particular word when in actual fact you're saying something completely different. So today's topic, as I mentioned, we're going to be looking at a few different words, 4 terms that you use in legal English with a silent B, and 1 word with a silent P. Okay, so we're going to be looking at those in particular. All right, so first of all, let's have a look at the rule. Okay, is there a rule? What's the rule for silent B and P? In English, the B is usually silent, okay, when it appears before a T. For example, debt, subtle. Okay, we're going to be looking at those. And when it comes after an M, thumb, climb, comb. We're not really looking at those ones today, but at least you know the rule there. So in English, the letter P is usually silent when it comes before an S. Okay, these Greek-derived words, psychology, psychiatrist. Okay, and also, this is an interesting thing, it's usually pronounced. We usually say it when it appears before a T. Okay, except, concept, intercept, with an important exception. As lawyers, you're probably used to a rule and then, of course, the exceptions. So what's the exception? Receipt. Okay, we're going to be looking at that today. So let's go through these specific words that you are probably mispronouncing. Okay, first one, debt. Okay, the definition, I'm sure you know what it means. It means money that is owed or due. An example sentence, or some example sentences are, the company is struggling to repay its debt. Okay, the company is struggling to repay its debt. It's having difficulty in repaying the money which it owes to its creditors. The debt was incurred due to unpaid invoices. The debt was incurred due to unpaid invoices. Okay, whoever this is owes money because they're not paying the invoices. Probably the debt is getting bigger because maybe interest is accruing. A common mistake is that a lot of people are trying to pronounce the B. They're saying debt. Okay. it's quite difficult to actually try to say that. It's more easy to say debt. And in fact, that's what we say. That's the correct pronunciation, debt. Okay, so stop struggling to pronounce the B. Okay, all right, let's move on. Debtor. Debtor. Okay, a definition. Again, perhaps you know this, a person or institution that owes money. Okay, a person, a legal or natural person, an institution, an entity, whoever, somebody who owes money to the opposite of debtor is creditor. Okay, let's look at some example sentences. The debtor filed for bankruptcy. The debtor filed for bankruptcy. They didn't have any money left to pay the creditors or to pay their debts, so they declared that they were bankrupt and they were filing to go through that process. The court ordered the debtor to repay the debt. The court ordered the debtor to repay the debt. Okay, maybe there was a debt. It was unclear whether it should be paid or not. There was a court case. The court said, yes, you must pay that debt. Okay. Of course, the common mistake here, and I hope that a light bulb is going off in your head and you're saying, oh dear, I've been pronouncing this word incorrectly. So the common mistake is that people are trying to pronounce the B. They're saying the debtor, okay, which again, just like debt, it's quite difficult to say. We don't pronounce the B, we say debtor instead, debtor. Pay attention, however, because there is a word that's similar to this, debt, debtor. We have debit, okay, which does have a B, but it's got an I in between, okay, debit, which is, you have a debit card, okay, which is not like a credit card, okay. The debit card, you pay for things and simply the money that exists in your account is used. Whereas, of course, with a credit card, you're using credit, you're borrowing money from the bank. So with debit, we do pronounce the B because, why? Well, it's actually different from debt and debtor because there's no BT, okay? All right, let's move on to the third example, doubt. Okay, doubt. The meaning is a feeling of uncertainty or even disbelief. You don't believe something to be true. And some example sentences are, I doubt what he said was true. Okay, the client told me something and I doubt whether it's true or not. I think he might have been lying or hiding something from me. Okay. Or I doubt what the other side said was true in negotiations. You are a bit unsure about it. There's no doubt the accused committed the crime. There's no doubt the accused committed the crime. We're certain. Okay, here there is no doubt. There's no uncertainty. There is zero disbelief. We completely believe it. There's no doubt. Okay, that something is true. We can also omit the that and imply it. So there's no doubt the accused committed the crime. So a common mistake, I call it a mistake, but perhaps that's not exactly the right way to talk about it. But something that non-native speakers are doing quite a lot is that they say, I have a doubt. Okay, in class, they might say, I have a doubt about this, which actually means, yeah, of course you feel uncertain, right? That is the meaning of doubt. But what you mean is I have a question, okay? And it's not exactly a grammatical mistake. You're not using this in a strictly incorrect way, but it's more natural for native speakers to say, I'm not sure about this, okay? Or I have a question about this, or I have doubts as well, we can say, or something similar to that. Okay, I have a doubt is not very common among native speakers. Okay, so if you want to sound more natural, okay, you could say, I'm not sure about this. Okay, I have a question about this. All right, so let's move on to number 4. Subtle. Yes, subtle. Okay, what does it mean? It means something's delicate, it's not obvious. We don't immediately see something because it's not completely obvious. Okay. So an example sentence is, there was a subtle difference between the 2 contracts. There was a slight, okay, difference. It was quite a small difference, but maybe it could still have been an important difference. Okay, so subtle just means, small in the sense of it being not obvious, but it could still be important. Okay. All right. So, of course, the common mistake here is that people are using the B. They're trying to pronounce the B. There was a subtle. It's not subtle. Okay. It's subtle, which hopefully is easier for you to pronounce. Okay, finally, this is not with a BT, this is with a PT. So remember, as I mentioned earlier with the rule, actually, okay, very often we do pronounce the P when there is a PT, except, intercept, okay, except, okay. However, this is a really important exception. Lawyers quite often use this word, receipt, okay? Of course, it means the proof of receiving something, and usually a payment, right? Proof of receiving payment. So an example sentence is, payment must be made within 30 days of receipt of invoice. Payment must be made within 30 days of receipt of invoice. Okay, so yes, the common mispronunciation is pronouncing the P. Okay, people try to pronounce it as receipt. Okay, it's not receipt, it's receipt. Okay, receipt. It's much easier, I hope you are finding, to pronounce these words actually in the correct way. Okay. All right, so why don't we practice your pronunciation? You're going to see these words on the screen, and I want you to either think in your mind or say out loud the words, okay? And after we see them, I will say them, okay? So here you go. You pronounce this word debt. Okay. Number 2. You pronounce this word debtor. Number 3. You pronounce this word doubt. Next one. Okay. You pronounce this word subtle. Okay. And finally, this one. You pronounce it as receipt. All right. So, how many did you get correct? Did you pronounce all of those words correctly there? Were you previously mispronouncing these words? Let me know. Leave me a comment in the section below. And why not try to make your own sentences with these words? So thank you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and practice. Okay, practice at home. Here are some links. I'm going to leave them in the section below the video. Okay, my Instagram, you can find me at Legal Englisher. Facebook, join my Facebook group, the Study Legal English group. Of course, you are probably on my YouTube channel, but you can find me on YouTube. If you'd like to send me an email, my email is louise@studylegalenglish.com. For those of you who want to practice your legal English further, of course, check out all of my videos here on YouTube, but don't forget I also have a book that I co-authored with Natasha Costello. It's called Practical English Language Skills for Lawyers. You can find it there at this link on the Routledge website or on Amazon. If you're interested in developing your legal English via courses and things like that, check out my website, studylegalenglish.com. If you go to studylegalenglish.com/pricing, you can sign up as a member. And my website page for this episode is studylegalenglish.com/episode 143. So, thanks for listening today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned how to pronounce some words correctly that perhaps you were mispronouncing previously. And so, check out my other videos. Join me on social media, and thanks for watching. See you next time.